It's a beautiful Saturday, time to plant some trees. I've got my four-wheeler loaded up. I've got the dibble. This is the tool you use to plant. Got plenty of water, 700 pine trees, and the chainsaw. So let's get to it. All right, you see this pond down here? That's a deer paradise. I'm gonna go down and plant a bunch of these trees down there today. In fact, I'm gonna fill up this entire big field with pine trees. I'm going to plant all the way to the oak tree line. All those trees over there are oak. So this low area has a lot of briars in it, a lot of thorn bushes. I'm going to plant these Piedmont Loblolly pines, and these come from Selma, Alabama. It's a very fast growing tree. This pine tree is called containerized because it was grown in a container and because of the shape of the root structure. You take your dibble, you make an indentation in the ground, and you put a tree in. So I'll show you how to do that. But what I want to do is make sure that that pond is cut off from the roadway is probably 200 yards that way. I want to make sure this pond is completely secluded from any noise from the road. And there's really no neighbor's house. There's one neighbor's house close by. I'm not too worried about that. The noise they make, they're okay. They're good neighbors. But I want to make sure if anybody else is around here that this pond is completely secluded. So this pond is in a beautiful corner of our property, and it's great for deer, great for turkey, great for everything else. I just want to enclose it so that it's isolated and cut off, and we keep it as wild as possible. So let's go plant these babies. I need the machete to come down here and clean this out. So I'm going to show you how to plant a loblolly pine. I've already got about 20 in the ground over here. So here's how you do it. First thing you do is clean out a surface where you want to plant it. You can just use your boot. Put that on the ground. Make an indentation. Widen it a little bit, put one of your trees in, and then kick it closed. Now a professional planter would come along and spray it later. I'm not going to spray it because I'm not a professional planter, and I just really don't have time to. So that's the reason I kick open this dirt spot to plant the tree in. What I will come back and do is get a machete and cut down a lot of these thorn bushes and the briar bushes that are around to just to keep them from growing up and taking the sunlight off the tree. But these trees will grow fast. This time next year, that tree will be about this high, and it'll grow 2 to 3 feet a year under great circumstances, which is plenty of sun, plenty of water, nice hot environment. So let's get to planting. A lot of people have asked me, am I worried about snakes? Because I plant my pine trees usually in early to mid-March. Right now it's March, I think March 27th. It's a Saturday. Let's see, what day is it? March 27th, Saturday, 2021. Snakes are already out in this area, but I'm not really worried about snakes. Really, snakes are not the biggest threat. The biggest threat is fire ants. Usually when I'm going to plant an area like this, I'll ride the four-wheeler or the side-by-side around really well and trample down some of the underbrush, and that really scare off any snakes that are around, because snakes don't want to be around you any more than you want to be around them. So snakes are not the biggest threat. Fire ants are the biggest problem, and I've been planting for about let's see, 4 or 5 years now. My experience has been that if fire ants move into the area around the base of a pine tree or an oak tree, any new tree you plant, they will kill the root. They don't eat the root, but the root will die, and so the tree will die. So the biggest problem is fire ants. Okay, I need to correct myself. The biggest threat to the pine trees is not fire ants. That is a big threat. The biggest threat is beavers. We're right by a pond. There is at least one beaver in that pond, which I'm going to have to trap him and take him somewhere else. I'm not going to kill him, so don't get all upset about that. I'll trap him and probably take him somewhere else. But that's about a 2.5 acre pond, and beavers love it. So beavers come and chew down your young pine trees. If you watch some of my other videos where I rode around the property, down on the bottom end of the property, I planted probably 6,000 to 7,000 trees. I think about 7,000. And I know we've lost probably 500 to 1,000 to beavers, a whole family of beavers, and they can cut a tree down overnight. And a big tree, a tree that's as big around as your leg, they can cut it down overnight and carry it off. So that's really the biggest threat. So anyhow, let's get back to planting. All right, I gotta get the slim out of the way. I don't want it to fall as soon as I get my trees planted. A lot of people have asked where I get my trees from, and I buy my trees from a company called Arbor Gen, and there's the phone number right there for Arbor Gen. And by the way, this is not a paid promotion. Arbor Gen doesn't sponsor me. They don't give me free trees. I buy the trees just like anybody would. You can go to their website, and I think it's arborgen.com, and you can see what trees they have. They have more than just pine trees. I bought about 25,000 oak trees recently, and we did another video where we planted oak trees in another part of our property. So they sell oak trees, they sell pine trees, they sell numerous species of trees. And if you want to know what to plant on your property, you can call Arbor Gen, and most of the big nurseries have someone who can advise you. Arbor Gen has forestation advisors, people who are actually experts in understanding what grows in different areas of the country, what to plant different times of the year, and they can even help put you in touch with a planter. So if you have a lot of property and you don't have cattle on your property, or you're not growing crops of some sort, and you want to plan for the future, then I recommend fill it up with trees. There's no downside to planting trees, as I said before. So call somebody like Arbor Gen. They can help you get started doing that. Well, the four-wheeler broke down last night, stranded me probably 1.5 miles down in the woods in a remote area of the property. The first weekend I have not brought my Honda Pioneer to the farm. Sometimes I keep it here, but I didn't bring it this time because I was going to be by myself planting trees, so I didn't bring it, and I'm paying the price. Four-wheeler broke down, so now I'm headed back out. You can see I've got another box of pine trees in my backpack full of goodies on this dolly. I'm going back out to where the four-wheeler is, and I've got tools and spare parts for the four-wheeler packed up in my backpack also. So the only thing I didn't bring was enough sunscreen because it's a really bright day. We had a terrible storm, and the four-wheeler broke down right at about 8:15 when it was nice and dark. And I have the light I keep on my GoPro, so I was using that to walk out through the woods, and the light died. So I said, well, great, I'll just use my phone. So after about 10 minutes, my phone died. So the last mile of the walk was in complete darkness. And then about halfway out, I walked by a cane thicket in one of the clearings in the woods, and something started grunting at me. I couldn't tell if it was a wild hog or a deer snorting or what it was, but I didn't stick around to find out. Anyhow, that's fun on the farm. So I got to trek about 1 mile back out there, pull in this dolly, and go finish planting these trees, try and get the four-wheeler fixed, and then head back out. And I'm tired. Okay, I came back after I finished planting. Let's see if we can use the top vision to jump off the battery on this. It may be that the battery's not strong enough to engage when the solenoid kicks in. I can turn the four-wheeler on and it clicks. I don't know if you can hear that, but something down there is clicking. It's the solenoid, I'm pretty sure. So I'm going to hook the jump battery up, but I got to take the battery compartment off first, so let's do that. Cover off there. This battery is the original battery, and I'm sure it's long overdue to be replaced. I know it's at least 6 years old, something like that. All right, my jump battery has full power. Let's connect it up. I've done a video on this Top Vision jump battery. I've actually done 2 videos. This thing has served me very well. This jump battery is strong enough to jump off a backhoe, and I've used it on my backhoe several times. It does a great job. I'm very happy with it. My brother bought one of these, had to send it back because his was dead on arrival. But I've used this thing to jump off my vehicles, my neighbors' vehicles, and so far it's done a great job. In fact, Top Vision should pay me a commission. I think I've convinced people to buy about 20 of these. Let's make sure everything's plugged in. Everything looks good. All right, let's go see what it does. Nope. I don't know if you can see it. This is the solenoid right there. So it's clicking, but it's not doing anything. It's not actually turning the starter. So I don't know what the problem could be. Let's see. I know this sounds crazy. Sometimes if you tap these things, they get stuck, and you can unstick it by tapping on it, which is not working right now. Okay, it occurred to me that there's some fuses and relays here, so I thought I would check the fuses. These are 15 amp fuses, I think. Let's see. There we go. That's the spare fuse there. Honda's good about putting a spare fuse in their fuse assembly. So here's the regular fuse in this white pill looking thing. And let's see, that fuse is good. So let's put this back together. Alright, and try this other fuse. Gee whiz, Honda, could you guys put this stuff in any tighter position? So you got to pull out this first fuse I just checked before you can get out the second fuse. Alright, so this one has to be up out of the way to pull out this other one. Golly. Alright, so there's both fuses out. It's just about impossible to get these things out where you can actually take a look at it. So there's the spare fuse. Come out of there. Spare fuse for the second one. And, there's the other fuse container. Let's see. That one's good too. These are 15 amp fuses, by the way. There's a fuse for the starter relay and a fuse for the solenoid. And both of them look good. So maybe it's the starter starter relay and not the fuse. Let's put these back in. Check the relay. Okay, the starter relay is down here, and it's an equally difficult thing to get out. It's just as hard as getting the fuse out, if not harder. And of course, you need a screwdriver to pull this thing out so you can check it. I don't know. I can't get to the relay, I think, without taking the battery out, and I don't have any tools here except a screwdriver. I think I may be stuck for today. Well, the thing to do is not to work on this down in the woods. The thing to do is to get it back up to the shop where I can actually have room to work on it. So, let's just do that. But how am I going to get it to the shop? Honda's being pulled by a Can-Am. The four-wheeler broke down in the woods. I had to go get a friend to pull me. Any other time I'd have my Pioneer, but not this weekend. It's about time to cut the grass. All right, 2015 Can-Am, that's what pulled me in. That's a good machine. You said that's a 2 cylinders? It's a 2-cylinder machine. It didn't have any problem pulling that four-wheeler up the hill. Okay, it's time to get the mower going so my gardener can get back to work. All right, buddy, you gotta let me sit there just for a minute. Uh-oh. Mr. Bones lost an arm. All right, let's see. That's great. I haven't cranked it since last summer, about I guess about the end of August. So that's really good. Okay, let's see if it'll crank again. You have to sit down on it. You have to be on the seat before it will crank. Throttle it, or choke it, I mean. Turn the choke off. Take the throttle up. Awesome. Okay, that's a wrap. It's Sunday evening, about 6:40. It'll be dark in about 30 minutes, maybe less. I've planted about 750 pine trees, filled up this entire field with pine trees. It may be hard to see, but there's one, let's see, right there. So this entire field is full of trees now. Been a pretty successful couple of days. Aside from the four-wheeler stranding me out in the woods, everything's been great. So got lots of pine trees. This time next year, those pine trees will be about 3 to 4 feet tall. Those that are on top of the hill won't grow as fast as the ones that are on the bottom of the hill. But anyhow, growing trees is a great thing to do if you have some property. If you don't have cows or some sort of livestock, or if you're not growing anything like crops, then I recommend putting trees in. And there's a lot of government programs you can get into which will pay for the trees and also pay you to plant the trees. So check with your county agent or your local farm service agency, or just look at the USDA website and you can get a lot of information about that. The trees I planted, I actually bought those. We didn't get in a government program for the pine trees. Anyhow, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you next time.